BoxBox Hub is an absolute essential for any Formula One fan, and the entire app with new widgets, statistics, localized race schedules, and countdowns, you name it. They even have support for Apple's new live activities feature with real-time updates during a race right on the lock screen, and honestly, some of the best looking widgets I've seen.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here in the finale of Silver Season 7 and looking forward to this one for sure. Here in Imola then for round 17 of Season 7, and we have got some action here. We've got a champion to be crowned here tonight then at this historic circuit. Then it is going to be either one of two. And it is going to be either Mags or Dylan then, the Ferrari then against the McLaren as they take to the track here in Imola then. Looking forward to this one for sure. Going to be an exciting race indeed. Looks like a nice dry qualifying as well to start us off on the final round of the season. And looking forward to this race indeed as well then. Good luck to the two drivers then who are competing for the top honour here in Silver tonight then. And of course promotion to Gold next season as well. And looking forward to seeing how they're going to fare here in Imola. Of course, not a very famous overtaking circuit, as we saw on Sunday in both Gold and in the actual Grand Prix as well. But looking forward to seeing how it's going to unfold here tonight then for Silver. Of course, Jenner is leading us away. He is going to be the first man on the track then to set ourselves a time on the board, hopefully, in this qualifying session. 15 or 16 minutes left of the session, as Gino then takes us away then through the Tamburello circuit, or chicane I should say, not the circuit. Well, he's going through the circuit as well. But there we go then. I'm going to forget all the corner names then, even though I just watched the race yesterday, and they did a very good job then of making sure I remember. Then this one is Toza as we come through Sector 2 now as well. Purple, of course, in Sector 1 for Gino, as he is the first man out on circuit tonight. But looking forward to this one. Like I said, it's going to be a super silver showdown for the title here in Imola as well. Then, of course, Mags and Dylan then both trying to vie for the title. 14 points in favour of the Ferrari driver as it stands. But, of course, how will it play out then in the Grand Prix itself? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But there we go. First, we've got to get qualifying done, Dusty. Then, of course, qualifying can set you up nicely for the race, where will we see Mags and Dylan then get themselves in the order then for the start of the Grand Prix. Like I said, Mags has been pretty formidable in getting pole positions after pole positions in this season. Can he get himself another pole position then to cement his title charge, then to cement his title countdown, I suppose you could say, in this one. Here comes Jenner then up to the line, and he's done a 15.5. Then Fanjo on the soft compound tires has done a 14.7. 7.77 indeed. They're not too much like the devil, but he's much better than that then, of course. There we go then. Mags then takes pole position, then the championship leader, then the championship contender, and the man in charge of the championship then as it stands then on to pole position then with a fantastic lap indeed. Then his the Alfa Romeo then just going through as well. Then that's great stuff indeed then to start off his challenge then for this final race then to claim that top spot. Then what can Dylan do? Up to the line. Dylan's on the medium compound tyres. He's done a 15.3, and he has slotted himself into P4 for the time being. Both the Williams then looking strong. Kamara Racer up into P3, then splitting the two Williams there with a 15.1 himself. Good stuff from Kamara Racer. Right then, unfortunately, Mumford has invalidated his time. Then here comes Vessia then through Sector 2. We've got yellow flags out there. I think the car's just slowing down, then getting out of the way, then almost swallowed me tongue. Then here comes Potstuff up to the line, then Potstuff P4 with a 15.1 as well. Then good stuff from him. What's Brooksy up to? Brooksy is, of course, reserving tonight then in place of Nigel, then who and he's looking pretty strong indeed as well. Then into the 14s, 14.4 for Brooksy. He puts himself P2, Ultimate Beast up into P3. I'm sorry I missed him crossing the line there. Good stuff indeed. Then Gorda then is out on track, so is Kia as well. Then he's invalidated his time then before he's even got going. Unfortunately, has Kia somehow. But there we go. Then Vessia then is coming through, but he's unfortunately invalidated his time as well. There are lots of invalidations going on here. We saw a lot of penalties in Gold last night then for track limits, that is. And will we see the same here tonight? Will that be costly then in the championship standings as well? Then we'll have to wait and see. In terms of the constructors, then Haas lead the way. Strangely enough, then Haas in the form of Brooksy this time. Not Nigel then, and Farf, of course, but we don't want to talk about Farf too much. He is currently then in, they are currently leading the charge then in the constructors title by, I think it's about 30 points then in favour of the Haas over the McLaren team. McLaren then looking to turn that round about as well tonight then potentially if Dylan can get the win. Sweet MJP then can do a good job here. He comes down the hill towards the first Ravazza. Of course, if the McLaren can get the win then with Dylan, potentially and turn the championship in the drivers' title around, and also potentially in the constructors as well. Then there's all to play for here in silver in the final round. Then champions to be crowned then, and of course constructors titles to be won as well. Then Sweet MJP then up into P5, a 15-0 then for the first McLaren to get a time on the board. The first McLaren, sorry, to get a time on the soft compound tyres, that is, because Dylan has done time as Ultimate Beast has left the session. And so unfortunately for Beast, then he's not having a great time out there. He is still in the garage then, so hopefully he can get himself back in the car in the next 12 minutes or so. Here comes Mr. Elite up the hill in Sector 2. Then Kia is back out on circuit. Then he's on another lap, I think. Then is Kia going through the Tamburello chicane. No, that's the second chicane, sorry, I completely messed that up. Through Tozer now then for the Aston Martin, and seems to be struggling with the car out there, does Kia, but hopefully get that sorted for the race. Here comes Gordo, then of course Gordo has got a title himself, then as Ultimate Beast is back in the session, thankfully. Gordo's got himself a title in the 100% league then, so we will going to visit him hopefully in Scotland for the trophy tour, and of course that will be coming up then in just about just under 2 weeks time now. There we go, then evening all from Serious Mushroom then. Not congratulating the winner, I did it last week, says Serious Mushroom. Then to be fair, I got it all wrong last week, so yeah, you're right. But it could be Mags once again then, so he could claim the title here tonight, even though I completely cocked it up in the Brazilian Grand Prix, the penultimate round of the season last week then. But unfortunately for Gordo, then he has had a bit of an issue then going through the final chicane then. Unfortunately he has invalidated his time, and that has been done and dusted in qualifying for that run, that is. He's still got time to go back out again, but will we come back out again? Well, is the question then. Jesus Christ. Mumford then flying over the curbs then in Sector 2, oh, end of Sector 1 I should say, and that car is very flighty indeed then. There's a Williams car coming through. He needs to get out of the way then of that Williams car and not destroy the brake marker boards, which he has done very nicely, but there we go then. So the Williams then, I think he's just on and out now, thankfully. Not going to get in the way then is Mumford. So there we go. Through the final chicane comes the Mercedes of Mr. Elite. Then he's flashing away then with that rear light then, showing that he's not got much battery power to play with then. But can he finish off a lap then to get himself on the timing sheet is the question. Through the first Ravazza now as well, then into the second Ravazza, and here comes the Mercedes. He's gone wide then at the final corner. Unfortunately, that has invalidated his time, and he's back in the pit lane. So there we go then. Goodness me, I'm already out of breath, and I've only just done the first 7 minutes of qualifying. So this is going to be exciting stuff indeed. Then Gino almost losing control of the car then in the Aston Martin, going through the Acqua Minerale corners. But he has kept the car pointing in the right direction, thankfully. Had Roger said Ultimate Beast will come back stronger. He is back in the session. Hopefully he is back even stronger as well. And looking forward to seeing what he can do. Fanjo then. Fanjo, he's not in the title fight then as it stands, but he's taken away that pole position from Mags, and that will be very costly need for his Irish counterpart then if he can't get that back then, as Fandra then setting a fantastic time, a 14.317 for the Williams driver then. Of course he's going to have a factor, I think, if he's going to do those sort of times. He's going to have a factor then in where he disrupts the championship contenders, I think, then in the qualifying, that is, at least. And will he be able to do any disruptions then in the race as well? Then we'll have to wait and see. Then Kamara unfortunately has invalidated. He's coming back to the pit lane. Dopey Lemon's the same as well. Then Dylan is back out on circuit, coming through the first and second Ravazza. Let's see what Dylan can do then on the soft compound tyres on his first soft compound tyre run in qualifying, that is. And it's a 14.6 then from Dylan, P5 for the time being, and he's 3/10 away from pole position as it stands. 3/10 away then from his championship rival of Mags as well, then as they go into, as Mags takes over then from Dylan into the first chicane, and he has got himself through then nicely indeed. And here comes Mags then, he's looking super quick here tonight then. Can he take back that pole position away from his Irish counterpart then of Fandra? Then of course, like I said, the trio of the Irishmen of Fandro, Mags and Dylan then have been frequenting the podium places then in the last few races of the season so far. Can they do that once again then? Can we see Fandra then get in the way then in the title fight? Then can he play a deciding role in who is going to be crowned the champion here as well in Imola. Looking forward to seeing what's going to happen then in the next few minutes or so. Of course, we've got another few minutes of qualifying still to come, and I'm going to have to try and hold on to my breath then for the rest of the session. And here comes Mags then flying through the final chicane, then that car jumping over the curbs very nicely indeed. Looks like he's got it set up pretty well to go over those curbs as we go down the hill then towards the first Ravazza. Then let's see what the Ferrari can do. Can he get that pole position back then from Fangio? Can he get himself into prime position then to start off this Grand Prix then for his final championship run here? Here he comes up to the line. It's a 14-0 then, and he takes away that pole position by 0.3 of a second from Fangio. Fantastic time indeed then from Mags, looking comfortable indeed as well, back where he's familiar then on pole position once again then for the time being, that is. Of course, there's still 7 minutes left of the qualifying to go, so there we are. So anything could happen, and it usually does then, as Formula One likes to throw at us once in a while. Evening, Willem, says Serious Mushroom then as well. Then Willem said, been some time since I've been here as well. So I think that's Willem Vidischkor. I'm probably pronouncing that terribly wrong. Sorry, Willem, but welcome back then to ALR, and we'll hopefully see you back at some point in the near future as well. Then you're always welcome back indeed, and you can just jump in to the server, have some good racing indeed. As good luck to the race, good luck racing with you all tonight, says Justify, who is in the AlphaTauri then reserving in place of TK tonight. Then good stuff indeed. I'm Mushroom as well then, and Serious Mushroom is sadly still here, unfortunately for Serious Mushroom. He soldiered on as Mushroom, but he's had a good season indeed, and of course he's going to be taking another track here in Imola then tomorrow night for bronze. Then can he get himself some big more points to finish off his season as well? We'll have to wait and see then, but of course always welcome is the Mushroom as well then. Of course Mushroom has been a fan favourite then for the long time then. Of course on the season finale here of Silver then, which he did race in before, can't remember how many seasons ago. Mushroom will have to remind us in the comment section, but Mushroom then hopefully going to go back into Silver one day and put on a show in the silver grid once again then. But there we go. So far so good then for the drivers, and of course only 13 drivers have set a time. I think a couple of people have been out there and invalidated their first runs, and unfortunately that has been very costly indeed, as there's a McLaren then getting out the way then of this Ferrari of Pragar coming through the Tozer corner now as well. Pragar has pulled off to the side of the circuit, then getting out of the way I think there, as Mumford has crossed the line then to set his first time on the board at a 14.8, then puts himself P7 for the time being. And Mags has got some fans in the comment section as well. 6 seasons ago, says Mushroom. No, it wasn't that long ago. And so there we go then. Time flies when you're league racing, for sure. Because I can't remember what happened at breakfast, let alone what happened in the race last night in gold then. So there we go then, as here comes Mr. Elite flicking it round the corner then. And I think that might have cost him a few tenths or two. But yeah, nonetheless, he's keeping it going then. Is the Mercedes then. Oh my goodness me, through Alcon Minerale then sliding his way through, and that car is not looking too stable then through the corners, that is, and there's quite a few of them around here, so he needs to try and get that car sorted before we get ourselves into the race then. We saw, of course, Max Verstappen then have a very difficult few practices in the opening stages of the Imola Grand Prix, and of course turned it around then to win the Grand Prix then last night as well, yesterday afternoon I should say really, as Kamara Racer crosses the line. Then he's done a P8, he's done a 14.9 then to put himself P8 then in the Alfa Romeo, then looking good indeed once again in qualifying is Kamara Racer. Junior up into the top 10 as it stands as well, then he is looking good in the Aston Martin, currently lead of the Aston Martins as well then, as we go into the second Ravazza then for Ginner, looking to crown off his season here, but he's back in the pit lane then, so he has abandoned that time then. Good stuff indeed. Oh dear, Gordo is not taking the chicane then. He's decided to go straight over the chicane then and back to the pit lane, I think, then for Gordo. So that is him done and dusted in this qualifying qualifying run. I think he's got time to get himself back in the pit lane potentially, and then get himself back out. Not so much if he's going to go stuck on the gravel though, but he has got himself back in the box now, which is good stuff indeed. Ultimate Beast is back out on circuit. He's back in the car. He's back out on circuit. Then is Ultimate Beast. Then can he take away some of those positions? And Brooksy then has got himself up into P3. Looking strong out here is Brooksy then. Of course, 14 points separates Mags then in the championship hunt then from his rival of Dylan then. But can that roles get reversed then in this race? Then of course, if Dylan wins and Mags finishes I think P4, sorry, or less, that is, then Dylan will be crowned the champion. Then it will be flipped on its head then as we go through into Aquaman and Riley then for the Ultimate Beast. Then let's see what he can do then into the next chicane. Then he's gone purple in Sector 2. And 3/10 up on his time as well. Then that is looking formidable stuff indeed. Then if he can keep it together then for the final sector here, Ultimate Beast could be on pole position then for the Imola Grand Prix, flicking it into the first Ravazza. Then the second Ravazza comes up quickly then and into the final stretch then to the line for the Red Bull car. Then let's see what he can do then up to the line. DRS and activated up to P2 then for Ultimate Beast. Then in the Red Bull, a 14.247 for him as well onto the front row of the grid then as it stands. But of course there's still time for drivers to improve. 2 minutes left of the session. It's getting a bit dark over Imola as it stands. Then potentially might be some rain on the forecast here, but will we see some rain in the race? And that might play a bit of a factor in the race result as well, wouldn't it? If it's going to be pouring with rain halfway through the Grand Prix, but we shall wait and see. But so far so good then out there. It is Ultimate Beast then up into P2, then Dylan is back out on circuit, then Dylan is coming through the first chicane, but Dylan has not got much ERS to play with. He has improved I think to P5, but he stays P5 I should say then, because he hasn't improved his position, but he might have improved his time then. But I don't think that is going to be Dylan's best effort then in qualifying. Unfortunately as it stands then he's down in P5, potentially could get jumped then by a few other drivers who are still out on circuit and on their outlaps. And that could be very perilous indeed then, unless he can go round again. I'm not sure he's got the fuel or the ERS to play with then to go round again. Same for Ultimate Beast then, who's invalidated his time. I think coming back to the pit lane there is Ultimate Beast then, so I think he's going to be done and dusted here in qualifying. Dopey Lemons is back out on circuit, then he's starting off another lap then. So is Craig Gar, then Justify is further ahead, then we'll come back to him. As Mr. Elite then starting off a lap, then Kia is on a lap then, but he's had an issue somewhere at the first chicane. Mr. Elite has gone through and gone past as well then. So that is that then for Kia. I think he's having a few issues out there. There's a Haas then having a few issues as well, it looks like. So we go through into Aquaman and Riley then as well. We'll go on board with Justify then, who is going to be coming through the final chicane then to start us off, or to finish us off I should say, as I thought Fanjo and Beast to come together then, but I think they just retired in the pit lane then, so that is lucky indeed, as Justify coming through the final corners now to complete his lap then. No, he's not. He's going to come into the pit lane. Never mind then. We'll go on to somebody else then. Dopey Lemons is going to come across the line. Let's see what Dopey Lemons can do. Can he improve then on P12 as it stands then up into... No, he stays P12, but he has improved his time. Craig R as well is back in the pit lane, so he's abandoned his final run then, has Craig R, unfortunately for the Ferrari driver. They're not going to be starting any higher than P13 in this Grand Prix. Mr. Elite coming around the final corner. Can Mr. Elite get his first time on the board? Kia is retired in the pit lane. He is done and dusted then. Here comes Mr. Elite up into P13, displaces Craig R, then down a place then as he crosses the line to finish off the qualifying here, as Irvine unfortunately has invalidated again then, so he's not going to be able to set a better time than the 25.0 here in qualifying. Farf also invalidated as well, so that's him done and dusted in qualifying. Out in front then, let's have a look and see what's going on out in front then. Dylan is calling back to the pit lane I think then, so unfortunately for Dylan I think that's him done and dusted in qualifying. Mags has also invalidated his time, so he's going to be holding on to that pole position as it stands then. Can Brooksy take it away though? Potentially we could see Brooksy then of course from bronze then going onto a pole position here in Imola, if he can hold on to the pace that he's got then in the Haas car. Can he play a factor then for the Haas team then here tonight then in clinching the Constructors title as well? Then it's still on the cards then. Well, it is on the cards. They're leading the way as Brooksy then finishes 12 thousandths up on the time then. Unfortunately then he stays P4. Dylan coming back to the pit lane now. And unfortunately, Dylan then is going to be starting in P5 as Vessier. No, he's not. He can be starting P6 as Vessier crosses the line to go P5. Then in the Alfa Romeo. Then great stuff indeed. Then into the pits comes everyone else. So Dylan then down to P6 then for his championship fight in the final race of the season. Then not where he wants to be. And what will he do then in terms of the strategy then to try and rectify that in the Grand Prix itself then? As that is qualifying done and dusted then, so that is your order then. Mags on pole position then, Ultimate Beast on the front row, Fanjo in P3, Brooksy P4, Vessier in P5, Dylan P6 then, Mumford P7, Potstuff in P8, Kamara Racer in P9, and Swinger P rounds off the top 10. Right then, we are ready to get going for the Imola Grand Prix. Then Mags on pole position. Then he is in pole position to claim the driver's title here tonight then as well. For the Ferrari driver, he is looking formidable once again. Then the nerves not getting to him in qualifying. Then back on pole position once again for the Ferrari. Ultimate Beast in P2. He's on the medium compound tyres. Can he play a factor then getting himself past Mags, I should say, in the first run to the first corner? We'll have to wait and see then. Fangio on the hard compound tyres in P3 then. Can he play a factor in this title as well? Then of course he's been very fast in the few races that he's done this season. Brooksy in P4 on the hard compound in the second row of the grid then, and he has done a fantastic job in qualifying then to get himself onto that second row as well then. Vess here on the medium compound tyres P5. Same for Dylan, the championship contender in P6 then. He needs to get himself a win and hope that Max finishes less than, or P4 or less then in this race to be able to claim that driver's title, to swing it back in the balance then of the McLaren, as then Mumford in P7 then on the hard compound tyres. Pot Stuff in P8 then on the mediums, then Kamara as well on the mediums in P9 in the Alfa Romeo. Then Sweet into P rounds off the top 10 on the hard compound tyres. Jinner then in P11 on the hard, same for Dope 11s in P12 as they look for a longer first stint. Then Mr. Elite on the mediums in P13, Craig R P14 on the hards. Justify starting on the medium compound tyres. He is the last runner on the medium compound tyres as well in P15. Hard compound tyres for Irvine, softs for Gordo though in P17, so he's looking for a very quick start indeed then is the Mercedes driver. Kia on the hard compound tyres in P18, Farf P19 on the hards as well. Then same for Reflection, who rounds off the grid in P20. Right then, let's do this. We've got a title fight then on the final race of the season. What more could you ask for here in Imola? And looking forward to seeing what is going to happen, what's going to unfold then in these 32 laps then. Could it be action? Could it be heartbreak? We will wait and see then. But here we go then. The drivers now lining up on the grid in their grid positions then to take the start of the Grand Prix here. And the 5 red lights are on in Imola. Then the 5 red lights are off and away we go then for the final race of Silver Season 7 then. It's a good start then from Ultimate Beast. I think then he's got himself alongside Mags already then as we go in towards turn 1 then. Everyone seems to have filtered through okay as well, as here comes into Ultimate Beast and taking the lead of the Grand Prix into the first chicane then. Mags drops down to P2. Dylan's up 2 places already on the medium compound tyres. He's flying as the McLaren driver then up 2 places as we go into the second chicane then into Sector 2 now. And that is great stuff indeed then. What a start then for Ultimate Beast then, and what a start for Dylan. There's an Aston Martin off in the background. It's Jinner then who's having a few troubles then in the gravel then in the background. Alfa Romeo then losing traction on the exit of Tozer as well. Then Vess here then under pressure from Mumford as we go through into Sector 2 now. And Mags, unfortunately for Mags, then he's on the compound tyre. Then Ultimate Beast has charged off in the distance. Look at him go. He's already a second ahead then as we go up Aqua Minerale then on the first lap then. The Red Bull then charging off in the distance. Max Verstappen like then for Ultimate Beast then. He's absolutely on top form then. Look at him go. He's absolutely flying. Mags then dropping down 1 place where he's on the hard compound tyres. Same Fangio stayed station as well then. But Dylan then has got himself up 2 places. Then he's right behind his championship contenders as we go into the first Ravazza to finish off lap 1 then. And I mean, that's been an epic start indeed so far then. I think everyone's got themselves through unscathed as well, which is great stuff to see. Then Ultimate Beast 1.5 seconds out in front. Then Delta's not sorting themselves out just yet. Then here comes Dylan on the attack. Then he's going to get himself past Fangio. Then he's already going for it into the first chicane. Then and Dylan then up into the podium places now as well. Then as we go through the Tamarillo, and looks like Dylan then back into the podium places now, right behind his title challenger, his title rival then of Mags, as we go into the second chicane to finish off Sector 1 now. Yellow flags in the background. It's for a Haas of Farf, I think then. No, it's not. It's for Gordo and Farf as they've gone off at the exit of Tamarillo. It looks like, unfortunately for both the Mercedes and the Haas, then they've had an issue somewhere. But out in front, then there's no yellow. I think there is yellow flags, but they've got themselves sorted and back underway now. They're going to have to hope, I think, for a safety car potentially to get himself back in this race. But out in front, look at this beast. He's not so flying there through Aqua Minerale, but he's now got himself almost a 2-second gap then. Well, he's lost a bit of time then with that mistake then through the Aqua Minerale corner, but he's got himself still a 1.1 second lead. No DRS then, of course, on the first lap in these Grand Prix. as Dylan then getting a bit squirrely over the curbs then as we go down towards the first Ravazza. Then can Fangio fight back then for that P3 position? Not quite. It doesn't look like then as he sits in behind then for the time being. Then through the first Ravazza we go then. Dylan then trying to get himself back in contention, then trying to get himself on the back of that Ferrari, then trying to get himself past that Ferrari as quickly as possible as well. Then Alter being set to fast lap of the race at Mags. Now Dylan have taken that away. Then Vessia then takes it away, I should say. Then down in P6 then trying to get himself back up one position that he lost out on the opening lap. Then DRS now enabled then as they cross the start-finish line. They will have that on the next lap. Jenner is in the box. Then he's called it a day. No, he's not called it a day. He's called it a day on the hard compound tyres, but he's got an issue out there as Jenner, unfortunately, for the Aston Martin driver. Then it is... There's no good change there, but he's onto a set of medium compound tyres, so that is interesting stuff indeed. Maybe a bit of a strategy call then. We'll have to wait and see. Justify and Sweet Debris then switching places then into the second chicane, then now into Toza corner, and the AlphaTauri is ahead then up into P11 now for Justify. Good stuff indeed then. We'll have a look at the tyre situations then. Sweet Debris of course on the hard compound tyres, so maybe losing a bit of performance compared to those on the medium compound tyres, but Irvine and Craig are then a side by side as we go into sector 2, and this is not an overtaking place indeed then, as they're going to go through side by side in Aqua Minerale. I think that's going to be tight indeed, but now Irvine slices ahead and up into P14. Great stuff indeed then from the Red Bull then as Kia picks up the first penalty of the night. Now it's very early then for Kia as well then. Unfortunately for the Aston Martin, he seems to be struggling out there. That car did not look good in qualifying, but he seems to be powering on then for the time being. Jenner is back out of the pit lane then, but he's on a set of medium compound tyres. I'm not quite sure if he had any wing damage or not then. We didn't really find out then, and maybe he'll come back to the pit lane now. But Mags now trying to get that gap back down then. It's 1.2 seconds. Here comes Dylan on the attack then down towards the Tamburello chicane, but he's too close. He's not too close. He's too far behind to make an overtake then into the first corner. Goodness me, it's been action-packed already in the first 3 laps. Then on to lap 4 we go then. Dylan then has done a great job then of getting himself into contention then to try and take this title. Of course, Max needs to finish down in P4 or lower, and of course Dylan needs to win the race then. If that's going to be the order, then of course there could be other factors in play. But so far, so good then for the McLaren driver to try and keep the fight alive then for as long as possible, of course. He's going to have to fight on to the end of lap 32 then. And I'm sure Dylan then, we've seen the characteristics of Dylan then in previous league races, in previous races in ALR as well. And he will fight on to the bitter end, I'm sure, to try and keep that title fight alive then for the McLaren driver and McLaren team as well. Currently in the constructors, Haas are winning the constructors based on Brooksy's 10 points that he's scoring in P5 for the time being. That might change, and of course, especially with Farf about, as we go then into the second Ravazza, and then it looks like Fangio had a bit of a problem then, as now Brooksy all over the back then of the Williams car, as we've got Farf getting past Kia. Then here comes Dylan on the attack, then here comes Dylan then for P2, then here he comes on the charge, then getting himself past his title rival into the Tamburello chicane. Then the McLaren now up into P2. Unfortunately for Dylan, it's not enough as it stands then, but can it turn around then in the rest of this race? Then we'll have to wait and see. Then can he get that pace on the medium compound tyre and excel himself away? Then as Gorda's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Then unfortunately for Gorda, then he must have been having some issues out there. It seems like him and Farf had an issue at the exit of the first chicane. Then Gordo into the pits, I should say, and onto a set of medium compound tyres. And unfortunately, I can attest to speeding in the pit lane around here. It's not very good, but of course it's a very long pit lane as well. So you're trying to maximise as much time loss as possible then, and of course you are trying to push on. And as we're looking at Dylan, then he's pushing on indeed. Then that gap to Beast is almost down to under a second then to get himself into DRS range then off the Red Bull car. He is flying. Look at him go. Then he's up into, as Vessia picks up a penalty. We've got penalties tumbling in now as well then, as they start to rack up then Dopey Lemons as well, the penalty as well in P10. He's had a good start then to this race, and hopefully he can have a good race as well. Then Mr. Elite picks up a penalty as well. They're all tumbling in now on the penalty situations. Then as we go on to lap 6 then of 32, then here comes Dylan. Now he's got the DRS then on the race leader in Ultimate Beast. Then Ultimate Beast had a great first 5 laps then, but now is starting to get reeled in then by the championship contenders, I should say, as Potstaff's got himself past Vessia then into P6 now for the Alpine, trying to chase down the gap to the top 5. Then it's 2.7 seconds between Potstaff and the top 5 as it stands. Brooksy doing a good job on the hard compound tyres, holding on to the top 4, I should say, so far in this race then. Great stuff indeed then. Dylan now up into P2. Can he get himself past Beast then? Can he get himself into the lead of this Grand Prix and really start to charge on then for the McLaren? Then he needs to win this Grand Prix if he wants to have any chance then of claiming the title here tonight. Beast has some pace tonight. It's a serious mushroom. Then he has some pace. Then he's lost a bit of pace, I think, then, because Dylan has got himself through on the medium compound tyres and now trying to take that lead away then from the Red Bull car. Looks like a McLaren and a Red Bull then fighting for the race lead. We haven't seen that before, have we? Not since yesterday anyway. But so far so good then as we go through the final chicane. Then here comes Ultimate Beast. Now it's Dylan as well then, as we've got yellow flags for a Ferrari, but it's not Mags. Then it's Craig R, unfortunately, through Aqua Minerali, having a few issues then for the second Ferrari car. Then here comes Dylan then through the second Ravazza, then on to lap 7 as Beast has gone wide. Beast has gone wide, and now this is the chance then for Dylan to take the attack then for the race lead. And here he comes in with some DRS then flying down the main straight. Then he's easily going to breeze past before we get to the first chicane. But Mags is coming through too. Mags has got himself up into P2, and can he go for the race lead into the first chicane? Not quite then. But that mistake from Beast then has cost him 2 positions then down the main straight then, and it's cost him dearly, and it's cost Dylan as well then, because Mags then, he wanted Mags to stay behind, get stuck behind Beast, I think then, but he hasn't done so for the time being. Then Beast trying to fight back then into toes up, but he's too far back to make a move. Then Gordo's got a 3-second penalty to add to his time as Mags has got off the circuit. Mags has got off the circuit, and Beast and Fangio are through. Brooksy is through as well then. At the moment, Dylan is winning the championship as it stands. There's still so many laps to go, but this is getting exciting already as Dylan then takes the lead of the Grand Prix through Aqua Minerali. We've got yellow flags out there. Mags then on the hard compound tyres will come back in this race, but this is getting epic already, and I can't control myself. So there we go then. So that is fantastic stuff indeed so far for the championship rivals. This is getting quite intense as the gap was 14 points before we started this race. Then as it stands, 25 points going in Dylan's favour, and Mags down on 10 points as well. That is, someone's going to have to do the calculations then, because I can't do them in my head that well, as we very well know. But this is well, I think Mags maybe trying to play a bit of a exciting factor then in this Grand Prix. Then Potstaff then is only 1.4 seconds behind the the championship leader. But as it stands, then as Dylan's been overtaken by Beast, then as it stands, then that's dropped Dylan down to P2, and that is not where he wants to be. Then he wants to be in the race lead. Then he wants to get the race win here in Imola to be able to have a chance then of claiming the title here tonight. Goodness me, that mistake from Mags then through this corner as well then, that was very costly indeed then as we go through once again then through the Tozer corner. But he's carried on this time, no problems at all. But unfortunately that is yellow flags then for a McLaren. It's not Dylan this time, it's Sweet MGP then who's off the circuit then at the Brooksy's got a 3-second penalty then as well, as Sweet MGP then getting himself back underway, and Farf going through then up into P15 then. But unfortunately, like I said, it is interesting. But unfortunately for Sweet MGP, then he has had an issue there somewhere through the second chicane. I think then very easy to lose the car, especially with the gravel trap so close indeed as well then. And of course they're getting closer as well for the I'm not sure it'll be for the next game then, but they're getting closer in real life as well then. But there we go, as we go through the first Ravazza once again then into the second Ravazza, the final corner then to finish off lap 8 then of 32. We are a quarter away of the way through this race, I think, if my maths is correct. As there we go then, as safety car is out, then safety car has been called out. Then what's happened here? Craig R has had an issue then. It's a Ferrari driver who has caused the safety car, which is well, not good news, I don't think, but interesting. But there we are then through Aqua Minerali. Then Craig R has lost the front wing, and there we go. Then that is unfortunate stuff indeed. Then of course the leaders have passed the safety car, so they are still free to roam. Then of course they got to roam to a delta. But Dylan then was on the attack then for P1. Then he has unfortunately not going to be able to make that move. Wasn't able to make that move down the main straight. Then we go on to lap 9 here as well. Then so that is interesting stuff indeed. Safety car has been brought out as Craig R's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well, to compound the misery then for the second Ferrari car. But it gives me a chance to cool down here. But blimey, then it's been an action-packed first 8.5 laps, as we've got an hour safety car then to nullify my voice, and I can have a quick sip of it. Delicious. Right then, so right then we'll have to work it out now quickly, because we've got 18 points then in Dylan's favour. Then that would take him 4 points ahead of Mags then, but Mags is scoring 10, so it will be a 6-point deficit then for Dylan as it stands then. But of course then, if Dylan were to get himself into the lead of the race and Mags stay in P5, then it would go to the McLaren drivers as we go into the box then. As we go into the box then for Beast. with Dylan, then everybody into the box. It looks like then as we go back out of the box then for of course the net race leader. I think he will reclaim the net race lead. Unless anybody wants to stay out there, but I don't think it's we do have somebody staying out, and then it's Irvine who's staying out once again. Goodness me. As we've seen in F123, the strategy is not to stay out under any safety car pretty much then, but Irvine wants to soldier on out there, so fair play. He just needs to be careful then of those who are going to be on much faster tyres then when they do come out of the box. Hi Mushroom says Kiki, then Kiki said will be 1 point to Dylan as it stands. We'll have to look at the fastest lap, of course that might be a factor. It is with Mags as it stands as well then, so that is currently it's well, Dylan then down to P3 then with of course Irvine not pitting, but Dylan down to P3. So he is on 15 points and Mags is on 9 points then, so it's not enough for Dylan and as it stands to sway the older in his favour. Then of course he needs to finish P3 and Mags not score any points then if he wants to get himself a win that way, a championship win that way of course. But I think Dylan wants a bit more then in this race. Then we've seen some pace then from the McLaren driver. Then he didn't have a good qualifying, but he had a good start then in the first stint. Then unfortunately safety car is being brought out then. Can the hards go to the end of the Grand Prix from here? 22 laps or so. It could be possible then indeed. Can the mediums go 22 laps is the other question. Then of course the likes of Fanjo, Brooksy, Mags are on the medium compound tyres. Same for Mumford, Camaro, of course Dopey Lemons, Reflection, and the rest of the field then have all stopped then a lap earlier than the top 10. Of course the top 10 did go through past the safety car then before they got to, before the rest of the field got to the pit lane. That is why they've got the extra lap on their tyre. Good news for Gordo, I suppose, then, because he can get himself back in the train. But safety car was brought out then, and we have now got as Irvine is carrying on then. So, goodness me, yes. I never like it when I see this sort of thing happen because it usually ends badly. And of all races we don't want to end badly. I don't think tonight is one of them. So. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see then. We'll have to wait and see then what the situation is going to be like then for Irvine. Then I think it's going to be very easy pickings then for his teammate especially then, and of course for Dylan then, and potentially all the rivals behind who are on the medium compound tyres here in this race. Let's see how it's going to unfold then. But of course we've still got to wait for the safety car to get himself back in the pit lane and get out of our way then, because of course we can't go racing just yet then when the safety car is in front of us. But for the time being, we go through Tozer now as well. Then I think we're just waiting for Gordo to catch up to the queue then, and he's going down the main straight now, so potentially it could be in at the end of this race, end of this lap I should say, hopefully not for the end of the race. If it finishes this way then of course Max is crowned champion, but fingers crossed we don't do another 20 laps or so behind the safety car, then that would be very horrible indeed. But fingers crossed then we can get ourselves started or restarted at the end of this lap then, waiting for Gordo to catch up to the field. Gordo seems to be busy commenting in the comment section of the stream, so that is why he's not catching up. Yes, now that he's done, hopefully he can get himself sorted and back underway. Then I don't think the safety car's going to be in now at this, unless it's a very late call. It might be a very late call here actually, because Gordo is now trundling about and up through Aqua Minerale as well here. But we'll have to wait and see then what will the safety car do then. Will it come in at the end of this lap? Then it's going to be very tight indeed if it is coming in, and it is coming in at the end of this lap then. And Irvine then was looking for an extra lap then behind the safety car, but he's now going to have to sit tight and take this restart here with his teammate of Beast then and Dylan on fresh hard compound tyres right behind him. Then the rest of the field then on fresh hards or fresh mediums as well as we go to the line then for Irvine. And we are back racing here in Imola then. A good restart then from Dylan then. Can he get himself past Alter Beast? Can he get himself past Irvine as well then before the first chicane? Then this is going to be very interesting indeed then if he can get himself through then as we go up towards the Tamburello chicane then for the 12th time here. And into the Tamburello chicane then. No moves being made then, but Irvine's gone wide then. Irvine's gone off then. Irvine's kind of struggling to keep that car under control, and as here comes the Haas then of Brooksy. Down the inside, then has he got the position? Yes, he has. Then, like I said, Irvine's going to struggle on those hard compound tyres, and he is struggling on those hard compound tyres as round the outside of Tozer goes Mags to take P5 away from the Red Bull car. and Vessi has gone through as well. Then unfortunately for Irvine, it just wasn't the right call then to stay out. Then I don't think is into sector 2. Then he's lost out down to P8 then from the race lead already. Then he's already lost 8 places then on this first sector, and unfortunately, like I was saying, it's just not the right call these days to stay out on those tyres. It's just much fresher tyres are much going to be much better. I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to say. Fanjo has got himself past Dylan though on the medium compound tyres. That is bad news for Dylan then, but of course he might expect those medium compound tyres to drop off then before the end of this race. And if it's if we're going to the end of the race then on green flag running, then that could potentially then be a factor then at the end of this Grand Prix. It could potentially play a factor then in the title decider here as well. Fanjo then going for the lead, and he's got the fastest lap as well. Then he's taking it away from Mags as well, which is very interesting stuff indeed. Then yellow flags in sector 3. Then that is for an Aston Martin, I think, of Kia then, who's struggling out there. Then Potsdam's got himself past Irvine as well. Then in the background, then we've got a Williams then swerving around as into the first chicane we go. Then Kamara Racer covers off the Williams, and he stays P10 for the time being. Then Dopey Lemon slots in at P11. Dopey Lemons is under pressure now from Reflection as we go into the second chicane, but he stayed ahead then of Reflection for the time being. Goodness me, it's been an epic restart once again. We've had an epic start to the race, and we've had an epic restart as well. Then Fangio on the medium compound tyres is trying to stretch his leg just like Beast did at the very start of the race. He is now trying to stretch his legs then and stay in the lead of this Grand Prix as well. Then Dylan now down to P3 then. Mags in P5 then, of course, if Dylan was in the lead of the race and Mags stays P5, then it could be a title decider then as it stands, I should say. P3 is not enough for Dylan as we go through the final chicane once again then. Lap 13, 20 laps to go here in this Imola Grand Prix. Mags might have to stop, says Serious Mushroom. Then I think there's a few drivers then, just Kamara Racing picks up a penalty. There's a few drivers then out there that potentially have to stop again. Then we might see some more strategy calls coming later on in this Grand Prix. Could it be a title deciding strategy call as well then? And could Dylan have played a masterstroke in starting on the medium compound tyres and now switching to the hard compound tyres then for the final stint of this race? We'll have to wait and see then. Dopey Lemons has got himself past Irvine now up into P9 then, as he's got himself past Kamara Racer as well on that last lap as well. Into the first chicane we go, and then Kamara Racer now stuck behind the Red Bull car as we go through in towards the sector 2 on lap 14 here as well. Then Dopey Lemons leads the way, then Kamara Racer stuck up behind the Red Bull of Irvine, who's of course on much older tyres at this stage, and Farf is chasing him down as well then in towards Tozer as we go through once again then. Ultimate Beast has almost lost the DRS then to Fanjo. Fanjo on the medium compound tyres is pushing on now. I think he might have realised that he will need to pit again potentially in this race. Then that could be a factor. That could be an indicator then. The same for Brooksy or Mags, for Mumford, for Dopey Lemons, and who are currently in the top 10 as well, that they might have to pit again then if Fanjo is pushing on now to use the extent of those tyres as quickly as possible and to maximise the pace as we go through once again then in towards sector 3. Then Irvine's got an issue. Then he's lost out then to Kamara Racer. Kamara's got a bit of a corner cutting warning I think there, because he's gone all over the circuit then. Bump drafting then from Farf then in towards the first revat, so then you can't do that in F1. It is illegal, so there we go then. Gordo's got himself past Gina, then down into up into B18 I should say. Then as it stands, then here comes Farf then on the attack as we go over the start finish line then onto lap 15 now. DRS of course available then for the Haas car as we go towards the Tamburello chicane once again. Then Ultimate Beast has got himself back in range, and Fanjo. These two then are not in the championship fight then, they're fighting for the race win here though, and they are very close together indeed. Then Dylan has had an issue somewhere because he's lost out. Then he's now got Brooksy for company as we go through the Tozer corner once again. Then Dylan's got to get himself back in that DRS then. That's crucial for his championship fight then and for his race as well as we go on to lap 15 through sector 2 now. Dylan then trying to close that gap as quickly as possible. Then it's not coming down as quickly as he would like. Then ERS light flashing away then as well for the McLaren. He's used a lot of battery then as this restart has been very quick indeed for all the drivers then concerned. They've all been setting some fantastic pace out there as we fly through. As Dylan's got a penalty, then that is going to be very costly indeed as well. Then Dylan then has got a 3-second penalty, then that could be compounding his championship hopes as well. Then it's only lap 15, but that could be very costly for the McLaren driver. Then we'll have to wait and see then when they cross the checkered flag. Then as Ginger picks up a penalty as well. Then of course when they cross the checkered line, the start finish line, then at the end of lap 32, then where that's going to end him up. Then of course Fanjo has lost out to Ultimate Beast. Then Beast is on the charge once again. Then Brooksy's got himself past Dylan now down to P5, down to P4, I should say, then is the McLaren, and that is not where he wants to be, of course. Then he has lost out 2 places then to Fangio then and to Brooksy then after this restart. Then lap 16 has commenced then, an Ultimate Beast, not Ultimate Beast, sorry, Mr. Elite and Craig R switching places then in towards the Tamburello chicane once again then. Oh my goodness me, halfway through the race then, so far so good then. It has been absolutely brilliant then, this race so far. Out in front then is Ultimate Beast. He's on the hard compound tyres. Can he get to the end of the Grand Prix? Can the hard runners get to the end of the Grand Prix? Then they have to do 22 laps then on those hard compound tyres. Then is it achievable then? Will the mediums be able to do 22 laps on those very, well, much fresher, much softer compound as well? Then we'll have to wait and see then. Brooksy then is up into P3, then he's in DRS range then of the top 2. Dylan is trying to hold on then in the stage of the race, and unfortunately those hard compound tyres do not seem to be working very well then for the McLaren driver. As it stands, potentially he's got to get themselves up, can get themselves through a warm-up phase then, and then fight on then in the next stage, next stint of this race. Then we'll have to wait and see then into the second rev. So then Dylan's going to be under pressure, I think, here from Mags. Then his championship rival then down in P4 is Mags, down in P5 I should say, is Mags. But he is challenging here, and here he comes then is Mags on the attack then, trying to get himself past Dylan now, up into P4, then he's got himself past Dylan and up into P4, then that is where he wants to be. He wants to be ahead of his championship rival, of course, and he is currently extending his championship lead. Then that will claim him the title as it stands then on lap 17 then, but it's not all done and dusted just yet. Then we've still got quite a few laps to go here. We've got 16. Well, we've got a Kamara racer off the circuit. He's out in the wall, then that's another safety car then, and my goodness me, where's he gone? He's gone straight on there, it looks like. We'll have a look on board with here, but unfortunately that is the second safety car, only halfway through the race then. And yeah, okay. Goodness me, Aston Martin safety car has been passed by the Aston Martin of Kia. Right then, it's not all done and dusted just yet. Then in the championship, it doesn't look like. So, I was saying about the hard compound tyres getting to the end. I think the medium runners as well then getting to the end. Then are not going to be too phased by this safety car, because they can usually you can use this now to box once again. Then Kamaro's left the session. Then that is his unfortunately another DNF then to round off his season. That is compounding his misery this season, unfortunately for the Alfa Romeo driver. Then he has not had a great time this one. Right then, here we go then into the box, and it looks like, yeah, we're all into the box then. It looks like this time, or isn't anybody going to stay out then? Nobody is staying out so far. Dylan is going to come into the pit lane as well, and he's seen what staying out on those hard compound tyres is like then for Irvine then, as we tried to get himself past then in the early stages. Then Irvine, of course, can use this now to pit then. He's going to stay P12, I think. Or will be roughly around P12. Then, of course, there was quite a few pit activities going on. Then, as pot stuff this time has stayed out, and my goodness me, we're going to have it again. It looks like so. Once again, then somebody has decided to stay out then in this race. Nobody has learnt from Irvine then, or Potslav hasn't learned from Irvine, unfortunately, as it looks like. But he is into the lead of the Grand Prix here. But of course, that is without having a second stop. Then so far. Those hard compound tyres, I think with this safety car he can get to the end of the Grand Prix then, but unfortunately once again it's going to be even worse than for pot stuff than it was for Irvine then, because everybody behind him is now on fresh medium compound tyres compared to fresh hard compound tyres at the first safety car then, so that is once again going to be a factor. But blimey, we'll have to wait and see how it's going to play out this time. Advantage Mags then, as it stands, says Ginger Age then, yes it is. Of course he is outscoring his title rival then. He was already 14 points ahead before this race began, and he is extending his lead then by 2 points as it stands then over Dylan to 16 points at the end of this season then. But, so far that is the standings, that's the gap. Unfortunately for Dylan, then I was thinking he's probably hoping that there wasn't any more safety cars then, because he could have got those hards potentially to the end of the Grand Prix, and he might have seen Mags and have to pit then for a new set of tyres, and he don't going to hold on to the end of the race there. But so far, that is well, you've got to play what your hand is dealt then, don't you? Of course, with safety cars and that sort of thing, that's what happens in Formula One. And unfortunately, it's not helped either of them, I don't think, at this stage of the race. But that is what it is at the moment, as we are back, no, not back underway, sorry, we're waiting for Kia then to catch up to the back of the queue, as Beast then is dropping down, well, he's dropped down to P2, but of course he's only down in P2 because Potstuff has not pitted then. He's going to have 10 lap old hard compound tyres against 2 lap old fresh medium compound tyres at the restart. So it's going to be interesting. Let's just say that. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. Indigo has said that it's not a good call then to stay out. And I don't think, to be fair, at any stage of this game it's been a good call to stay out because the fresher tyres on this game is so much better than older, even a few lap older tyres that you can just fly past then with ease then in the first couple of corners then on the restarts. So yeah, Indigo saying that the choice there, sorry, for pot stuff and to stay out then is not the right choice, and I have to agree with him there because I don't think it is either, to be honest. So there we go, especially with P2 down to P13 on fresh medium compound tyres. Mr. Elite is on the hard compound tyres, so that could be good news for Mr. Elite then. If there's no more safety cars, then he could stay out, and of course he could try and get to the end of the Grand Prix, and potentially, if we see the medium start to drop off, then Mr. Elite on the hard compound tyres could fly through the order, or at least gain a few places then in the order, get himself into the top 10 on the final race of the season. But there we are then. I think we're going to be back underway now. I think it's going to be a much earlier call than it was last time as well. Or not. So, yes, it is going to be an earlier call. So there we go then through the final chicane then, and the safety car, the lights have turned off, then it's going back to the pit lane now, getting out of our way, and we can resume racing on lap 20 here. We're going to have 13 laps of racing to the checkered flag, provided there's no more safety cars, that is, and we can get ourselves a champion crown here tonight. Of course, this is the final race of the season. The champion is going to be crowned regardless then as well. So that is that then. As it stands as well, we'll have to look at the constructors, and I think that as it stands in, there is only one Haas, there's only one Ferrari, there's only one McLaren in the top 10 as it stands. So currently the Haas team, the Haas pair, are going to be winning this constructors. Well, off we go then. Potstaff's got a good restart then. He's going to have a gap then, I think, to Beast then before we get into the first chicane, which could be enough to hold on to the race lead then as we go through in towards Tamburello. And yes, he does once again then. He's well, not once again then, but he's held on to the race lead. There's Beast is almost losing the car then going through the second part of the chicane there, but he's kept it in control. Dopey Lemons has got himself past. Oh, Dopey Lemons is in a bit of a wars then. There's Mumford trying to squeeze his way through, and Farf is there as well. Blue as me, Farf is always there, isn't he, trying to get in the way. Kia's got a penalty, unfortunately, for Kia then, as we go through Toes, and now Mumford then on the attack then, trying to get himself past the Williams car of Dopey Lemons, then Dopey Lemons trying to fight back as well. They're going to go side by side through here, and that is not where you want to go side by side, as Farf has lost this front wing, and Dopey Lemons has gone for a spin. And I don't think that is where you need to position your car there for Dopey Lemons. And unfortunately, that is just not the right place to attempt a side-by-side manoeuvre then for Dopey Lemons. And he's lost out then, as Farf has also lost out. He's got that front wing damage then after being well, he wasn't collected then, but he had no option then. He had no time to react then to Dopey Lemons' car that was stuck on the circuit. Then Potstaff has been passed by Beast, and Potstaff has been passed by Beast, and Beast is once again on the charge. He's set the fastest lap. He's flying away once again then. This is reminiscent of the first lap then on lap 21 now for Beast. Up into the race lead, he's got a 1.6 second gap. Then Brooks has got himself past Potstaff as well. Then up into P3. Potstaff starting to struggle now on those older hard compound tyres compared to these fresh tyres, fresh mediums I should say then, for the drivers around him. Then Mags next to try and attempt the move as we go through into the second chicane. Then out of the way then goes Potstaff. Then, oh my goodness me, almost collected by Vess here as well then as we go into Tozer now. Potstaff picks up a penalty as well, running wide then on his old hard compound tyres. I don't think it's the like Indigo was saying, Mr. Elite's had an issue. Mr. Elite's had an issue, and he's off the circuit. He's got himself back on quickly enough. And back underway then, Farf into the box, then he's onto a set of soft compound tyres. Potentially could take the fastest lap here as well, and that could be a point for the Haas team in the constructors fight. We'll have to wait and see, but so far not so good for Farf then, but we could get that point then for himself and the team to help Brooksy then challenge it for the Haas pair in the constructors fight as well. In towards the final couple of corners then onto lap 22 we will go, and we've only got 11 laps remaining here in this Grand Prix. Gordo and Craig are then switching places. Then Gordo's got himself ahead now of the Ferrari as we go down the hill then. Of course, Craig are keeping it clean then, no penalties for Craig are, and that could be very useful indeed towards the end of this race. Same for Sweet 100p then in P11, and for Mumford in P8 then. So far it is not all done and dusted for those drivers, even if they're outside the top 10 as it stands. They could get themselves further up the order then, as Mumford's got himself further up the order already, then up into P7 ahead of Potstaff now. He's got his teammate of Reflection right behind him, as oh my goodness me, then Reflection was pushing him through the corner then. And are there going to be some team orders here from Alpine? Then the Reflection does get ahead, then up into P8 now for the first Alpine on track. Postov, of course, on the much older tyres, then has dropped down the order. Then Irvine is next to challenge then for that P9 position now. As out in front, then Beast has got a 1.2 second gap. Then Brooksy has lost out to the top two. Max is all over the back of him for that podium place. Then Max could get himself a podium on his final outing in Silver Season 7 then, and claim the driver's title here tonight. Then as it stands, it is going his way then, unfortunately for Dylan. That penalty and the second safety car have been costly for him, as we've got an issue then for Dopey Lemons there somewhere, and he is having a few issues out there, unfortunately, as Dopey Lemons, and he's back underway then, thankfully. But not quite sure what's happening. They're justified with a penalty as well. Then penalties are rolling in very quickly indeed. Then, well, they have been since lap 5 pretty much, then haven't they? As Fanjo's got himself back in DRS now of the race leader of Beast. Then as we go onto the main straight, the ERS light flashing away then for the Red Bull car. That's going to be enticing indeed. Then for Fanjo, Max has got himself up into the podium places, then ahead of Brooksy, and onto the podium then for his final race in Silver Season 7. Then great stuff indeed. Then so far so good then for Max. Then Reflection and Mumford battling away. Then Reflection has got himself up into P7, then Mumford dropping down to P8. Then we're looking to go side by side into the next chicane. Then it's not where you want to go side by side. There's no side by side places around here really, apart from the main straight. And that even is difficult enough as it kinks all over the place. But we've got more yellow flags out there as well. Then Mr. Elite's had another issue. Then Mr. Elite's having a horrible time out there. Dopey Lemons has gone through. Then Mr. Elite trying to get the car back underway at the first chicane then for Mr. Elite. Then he's had a few issues then back underway then for Mr. Elite. Good stuff indeed. Fandra then is caught up to the back. Then is 1.5 seconds of the gap then to Mags. Then he's still got pressure then from Brooksy and from Dylan as well. Versier has joined the fight in P6 as well then, but then you've got a 2.9 second gap then back to P7. Potstuff and Sweet Andrew P then switching places. There's a car off the track then as Mumford is gone over the chicane then. There's yellow flags in the background as well then. It's Potstuff again, and Potstuff's had an issue then at the chicane, getting himself back underway then, as Jinner is also off the circuit as well then. So Jinner's had an issue as well then with Potstuff, it looks like, and both of them have come together. Then both of them had an incident there somewhere, and trying to get themselves back underway. Then Kira's gone through up into P15 and taken that place away from his teammate as well then, onto lap 24 then, as Irvine has been passed by Mumford there, up into P8 now for Mumford, then trying to chase down Reflection's got a nice little gap there of 3 seconds. Then a bit of fresh air then to the top 6 as well. Then Potstuff is in the pit lane, then Potstuff is in the pit lane, so for Jinner as well then, as they are calling it a day then after that, whatever happened then at the final chicane. Then Jinner is out of the race then. And that is Jinner done in this race and done in this season as well. Then, of course, on the final race of the season as well, if you didn't notice. Right then, for 1.5 seconds is the gap then between Mags and the top 2. Then the top 2 trying to scamper away then as quickly as they can then from the championship leader and the champion-elect as well here, as we go over the crest of the hill. Then I thought Brooksy was almost going to go past him then, but he has not been able to get himself through then into the final chicane. Then Fandra then has lost out. Then he's had a bit of an issue then through that final chicane as well. And he's lost out to DRS then of Ultimate Beast. Then that's great news for Beast, not good news for Fandra then, as we go through the second Ravazza once again then on to lap 25 of 32. The season almost wrapping up here in the twilight embers then of Silver Season 7 as we cross the line then to start off lap 25 here. Brooksy then on the attack then. Can he get himself back into P3 then past the Ferrari, of course, who is challenging for the title, but he thinks better of it then as well. Good stuff indeed from Brooksy. I think very wise there, because I don't think there was going to be much of an overtaking position, or place I should say, as they went side by side into Tamburello, but so far so good. Irvine has got himself past then in the DRS. Then he's got himself ahead of Mumford up into P8 now for the Red Bull car. Sweet ODP then holding on. Then he's in P10 at the moment, but he's got a 2-second gap to try and negate then at this stage of the race. Then can he get himself into some a higher points pen position as well? Then yellow flags out there. It's for who is it for? It's for Potstuff. Unfortunately, Potstuff had an issue somewhere and trying to get himself back underway. Then he has got himself back underway, and good stuff indeed. Then. Right then, out in front, we go through the final chicane once again then, and we're trying to get that DRS then for Fandra then, but he's once again just outside of that 1 second window. Then Beast is going to be loving this indeed, then trying to hold on to that gap, then extend that gap as well then to just over 1 second, then into the second Ravazza now as well. And I think both cars are flashing away then, no ERS to play with then as we go onto the main straight to start off lap 26 now of 32. Farfar's going to demonstrate soft tyres, the soft tyre life, says Ginger Age. Good stuff indeed. the number of penalties in this race, says L-Tag. Yes, it is a penalty. Ves here has got himself past Dylan then, and I think that is it's costly for Dylan for sure, but I think that is going to be costing him the driver's the driver's title here, with Mags then is extending his lead then up into the podium places now, and extending his lead then over Dylan in this race. Then of course it was 14 points in favour of Mags as we went into this Grand Prix. Then we've got a Haas then having a few issues then out of Tozer, but he's got himself back on the way. Goodness me, then like L-Tag was saying, then it had penalties racking up, then I should say, then, and of course it's a penalty-inducing track indeed, as we saw last night then. Unfortunately, we didn't see it in real life, but I think if the real life racers raced anything like this game, then they would be getting more penalties than the drivers that are on track now, because they like to abuse track limits, don't they? But that's about it, really. Right then, DRS now available then for Mags. Then he's not got that ERS light flashing away then, which is great news indeed then for the champion-elect here as we go into lap 27 now. Can he get himself up into P2? Can he cement that championship charge, I should say, as we go into the twilight embers of the Grand Prix and of the season as well. Here comes Mags then on the attack then. Can he get himself up into P2? Not quite then. Dopey Lemon picked up a penalty as well. Then there's all sorts of penalties wrapping up in this final few laps as well then. Unfortunately, the penalties are wrapping up then means that there's going to be quite a few position changes, I think, here. We'll have a look at the penalty situation then in just a jiffy, because I think some people need to do the driver of the day poll, don't they? Brooksy driving beautifully, says Ginger Age. Yes, he is. Of course, he is on track. Or on track literally, but he's on track then for a title himself then in bronze tomorrow night as well then. So this is going to be another epic showdown then for Brooksy, another McLaren driver, I should say. There could have been 4 McLaren winners this season. Sam Swift in gold, of course, wrapped up the season in Brazil last week. Then we've, of course, got Dylan, then, who is challenging for the title here tonight. We've got Brooksy, of course, leading the way in bronze in the McLaren tomorrow night, then. And, of course, Gordo in the McLaren won the 100% league a few weeks ago, then. So it could have been an all four McLaren drivers, then, winning every title then, in the drivers, that is. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be the case here for Dylan. Then he needs a miracle now to try and turn it around. Then he needs, well, I don't want to say it because I might jinx it, but I won't say it then because I won't jinx it. But there we go. Then here comes Mags then on the attack then for P2. Then can he get himself past Fandra then into P2 and cement his title compendium as well as we go into the Tamburello chicane? Then yes, he is. He's up into P2. He's ahead now of the Williams, I should say. There is your driver of the day poll. We'll quickly look at the penalty situation. Then 6 for Brooksy, 9 for Vessia, then 3 for Dylan. Then he will gain those places back then on Vessia and Brooksy. Then up into P4. It won't be enough, unfortunately, for the McLaren driver. Then Reflection in P7 has got 6 seconds as well. Then Mumford's not got any penalties at all. That's good for Mumford. 6 for Irvine. Then that could demote him outside the top 10 as it stands potentially. We'll have to wait and see. Then 6 for Gordo, 12 for Justify, 9 for Dopey Lemons, then 21 for Kia, 12 for Mr. Elite, then 6 for Farf, and 11 for Pot Stuff as it stands then. So that is the state of play then in terms of the penalty situation. Then we'll have a quick look at the intervals, position changes as well. Beast has got himself over to the race lead. And of course he did win here a long time ago then, back in Silver Season 6. Or that was only last season, and I think it might have been the season before that, in Season 5 then. But of course he did win here as well then, with a great strategy of course. But he has just run his own race here in Imola then tonight. Then it seems like he's been very, very confident, has the Red Bull driver then, looking like he's going to claim this race win here tonight. As yellow flags are out though, yellow flags. And it's for a Williams car. It's Dopey Lemons then, who's Aqua Minerale trying to get himself back underway. And he has done this time as well then. Good stuff indeed then. He needs to make sure he gets out of the way then of the cars coming through as well. Then he's got Mr. Elite and Kia then, who are going to come through the final chicane then, trying to challenge the Williams car as well very soon as they go over the crest of the hill then down towards the first Ravazza. Brooksy has dropped down to P4 then behind Vessia now. Dylan is holding station behind these two as well then, as unfortunately Brooksy's having a few issues on the toes there, but hopefully he can get that sorted for tomorrow night. So there we go then. As position changes there, Reflection up 8 places there, but of course he has got the penalty situation to rectify as well. With the penalties for Reflection then, he won't lose out to Irvine as it stands. He might lose out to Sweet MGP, then he might lose out to Craig R. So it is not all done and dusted in that fight then as well. Then Sweet MGP then has got himself a 3-second penalty as well then, unfortunately for the McLaren. Then that is very costly indeed then, because that is very costly indeed. Then he's lost out to Gordo as well then, and he must have had an issue then through Aqua Minerale that has picked up that final warning as well, and it's cost him a place to the Mercedes. Then that is bad news indeed. Then of course McLaren then are fighting on the in the front then for the constructors then, but currently with Brooksy in P5, as Brooksy might go for P4 here. Yes, he is. So Brooksy in P4, I should say then. Farf is going to go for that fastest lap point as well. Then potentially it could, I think it will be claimed then by the Haas pair at this stage of the season as well then. There is your candidate then for driver of the day. Beast, Fangio, Mags or Mumford are your candidates then for this final race of Silver season. Oh dear, I thought Irvine was a reflection was off the circuit then, but he's got himself down past being passed by Irvine, I should say, onto lap 30 then of 32 then. No more safety cars to come out in this race. That is the end of the safety car for Silver Season 7, which is good to hear. So good stuff indeed. And Mags then is on the back then of Fangio then, but currently he doesn't need to worry about getting himself past Fangio then for his championship. He is going to win the driver's title as it stands. Then Dylan down in P6 then. Of course, he will get promoted with the penalty situation. Then he's only got 1 3-second penalty. There is more for Brooksy. There's more for Vessia then ahead of him as it stands. Then Fangio's picked up a penalty as well then, and it's going to be very costly for Fangio then. I don't think it will lose him any places apart from to his Irish counterpart then of Mags, which isn't too concerning, I don't think, for either driver, to be honest. As here comes Dylan then on the attack then, trying to get himself past Brooksy, trying to get himself past Vessia as well. Then can he go around the middle of both of them? Then he hesitates then slightly, then Brooksy's lost out 2 places as Dylan takes P5, then Vessia takes P4, and away they go then through Tamburello then into lap 31 then of 32, the penultimate lap of the season. Here is underway now as Gordo is in the pit lane, and so Gordo going for the soft compound tyres now, so he's going to go for the fastest lap point, I think, is Gordo on the final race, as Kia has been disqualified for picking up too many penalties. Well, that is bad news for Kia. He is parked up then off the circuit, then he's been demoted out of the race then as Kia, and unfortunately that is on one retirement that we didn't think was going to happen then, but unfortunately he has had too many penalties, and that has booted him down and out of the race as well. Then Craig Gars got himself past Swindler P. Then Swindler P is struggling there. He's lost out at Tozer, then has the McLaren drive, trying to get himself back underway here, but he's not having a great time in the latter stages of Season 7 here. Unfortunately, Favre is back in the pit lane as well. Favre is going for the soft compound tyres. Will he get himself out ahead of Ultimate Beast is the question, though, because if he gets lapped then, as Beast then starts off lap 32 of 32, the final lap of the season for Silver here. As Beast comes out, he hasn't come out, sorry, Favre has come out ahead of Beast, which is lucky indeed. Mr. Elite then has not come out ahead of Beast, but he's on the soft compound tyres as well. Then we'll have to wait and see who gets the fastest lap in this race as well. Then here we come then, Ultimate Beast then coming down down in towards Sector 2 now for the final time here in Imola then, for the final lap then of Silver Season 7. Then Ultimate Beast looks like he's on course to claim the victory here, as we've got yellow flags further up the order, and it is for Gordo. Then Gordo has had an issue somewhere. Into the pits comes Sprint P. Then again, another driver then who is going to be struggling. Then I think he's going to get out ahead of the he's going to get out ahead of the race leaders then to start off lap 32 then for the McLaren. But yeah, unfortunately for Swindler, he's having a few struggles out there, but is soldiering on out here as well. Then he's going for the fastest lap point in this race, which is good to see. Ultimate Beast then through the final chicane. Then he's got a 1.7 second gap. Then he is comfortably in control as it stands. He has been in control for a long time in this final stint. And here he comes then down towards the first Ravazza then into the final corner then for the final lap then of Season 7 of Silver then. It's been a fantastic season as well then. Here comes Ultimate Beast then to win the final race of the season then. The Red Bull driver takes the crown. He doesn't take the actual crown then. Ultimate Beast then P1, Banjo in P2, and Mags is your driver's champion for Silver Season 7 then. Where is he? There he is then. He has got himself the title here in the final race of the season then. It was a showdown then for the ages then, into the history books as well at this historic circuit then. Mags from the well, he's done a fantastic job. Mags then takes the title here in Imola. A fantastic race, a fantastic season for the Ferrari driver then. And Mags is Silver Season 7 Drivers Champion then. And what a season it has been then. What a fantastic driver he's been then. All 17 rounds then of this fantastic season as well. And he has deserved the crown. And he has got the crown then on the final race of the season as well then. Well done indeed then to Mags he has got himself a trophy on the way, of course, and a trophy then for his cabinet, and well, maybe it'd be the first of many as well in ALR. Looking good indeed then for Ferrari. Then he has got himself the title here tonight then in Imola. And there we go then, he has been crowned ALR Silver Season 7 Drivers Champion. Fantastic stuff indeed then, and what a race, what a way to end off Season 7. We'll have a look through the classification very shortly, but this time I'm sure that Mags has won the title. As there we are then on the top step of the podium then is Ultimate Beast. Then he's taken the win, the final win of the season, just like Toyn Coin last night in gold. Then another Red Bull driver takes the win in Imola to round off the season. Fantastic stuff indeed then. Well done to Beast. Then he's got himself an accolade then for his Season 7 as well. Fanja then in P2, that penalty, P3. Oh, wait, I'm not quite sure. I think he was P2 at the end then for Fanja in P2 with a great race indeed. That penalty costly in the end then, as Mags then is crowned the champion. And there he sips the champagne, does Mags, and he has got himself the title here as well in Imola in the final race of the season. Fantastic indeed. What a race indeed as well. Then Ultimate Beast takes the win. Then Fanjo P2, Mags the new champion in P3, Dylan in P4. Well done to Dylan as well. He sold it on to the final lap, to the very last then for Dylan. Mumford P5, Brooksy P6, then Vessia P7, Irvine P8, then Reflection P9. Craigar rounds off the top 10. And we'll just get ourselves a quick look at the classification, and before we get ourselves into the interviews then for the podium drivers of Gordo, then with the fastest lap then in P12. Good stuff from Gordo. Well done indeed to all drivers then who got themselves to the checkered flag, because it's not easy there, well, for sure. Right then, I think we'll get cracking then with the podium interviews, hopefully. So we will wait and see what is going on, and hopefully they can hear me as well this time. But we'll start off. I think Mags has joined us. And Mags, if you can hear me, say aye.
I can hear you, man. I can.
He can hear me then, which is great stuff indeed. Then Mags, I can confirm this time correctly. You are the Silver Season 7 Drivers Champion. How do you feel?
Oh, amazing, man. Honestly, it's been a grueling season, but I've loved every second of it. My first season in this league. I've said it so many times. I respect the league a lot. I love what you are doing, and really appreciate he's let me have a seat now here. So, I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. And
at some point in that race, then I think you dropped down to P5. Did you think were you getting a bit nervous at that point, or did you think you were going to come back in the race?
I was nervous all day. Hey, to be honest with you, I didn't practice at all until literally one short while before. But my heart was pumping, and I had a half spin and just managed to save the car, and I had to just cool down for a bit because I had to just regain. Starting on the hards was not the play. They were absolutely terrible with a heavy fuel and all, so I just knew, just keep it on track. All I had to do, I knew all I had to do was finish fourth if Dylan finished first, and I just wanted to stay as far away as possible from incidents if I could. So I was driving a wee bit cautious, but I think the fact that I was driving cautious, it actually made me piss a bit worse and made me drive a wee bit worse. But look, I got it over the line, and I'm really buzzing with myself, in some form.
Well, you deserve it indeed, and like I said, credit to you. Like I said, you alluded to there as well. Then all season, it's been a tough season for yourself. It's been a tough season for me as well, trying to commentate on it all. But you've done a great job. Then week in, week out. Then of course we've had some highlights, I suppose you could say. Then some lowlights as well.
Definitely, man.
Much more highlights than lowlights for sure. And of course we've got so many pole positions this season, and lots of race wins to go with it. Then and lots of course rounded off tonight as well. So is there a highlight? Is there one moment of the season that it was your favourite then, or was it just tonight then winning the driver's title?
I'd have to just say it's tonight. I'm really happy with how I drove the whole season. I think I was really consistent, really fast. I feel like I could have had another couple of race ones under my belt and saved this from going down to the last day, but I just got it over the line, and I'm buzzing with myself because I've come a long way from only starting playing the game 3 years ago to hopping onto the wheel a year ago, and took a break. I took a bit of time off and all too, just before Christmas and stuff from racing, and I think it worked out. But I just want to say a massive commiserations to Dylan too. He's pushed me the whole way. It's not the first time he's did it. Me and him have went down to the last day in our league in Tier 2 about a year and a half ago, and he won it on that day. So it's my time to get it back.
Returning the favour then, so well done indeed then to the champion then of Silver Season 7. Mags then takes the crown on the final race of the season. Well done indeed to Mags. Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
yourself, sir.
Thank you so much.
Well, I think Dylan has joined us then. Dylan, like Mags has alluded to as well then, commiserations then in this race. Then you had it, it looked like at one point at the earlier stages of this race then, did you think potentially it was on the cards to flip it in your favour?
It gave me false hope for crying out loud. So, what you call it? When I see him spin, like, what you call it, I think around lap 5, lap 6, something like that, there was a half a chance of, what you call it, getting the title back in Donegal, but it actually is not to be quite frankly. So, yeah, congrats to Max, like, being, like, consistent, to be quite frankly. I tried my best to push it all the way, but tonight it's like Imola is kind of like one of the worst tracks to be on. So yeah.
And well, as you said, you've battled all the way through the season as well, and I think it's been absolutely epic to watch the two of you, and Fanjo, of course, but the two of you battle on then for the whole season, pretty much then sort of toing and froing and yo-yoing around then in terms of the top of the order as well for most of the season. And like Mag said, of course, he won the other league, or you won the other league, sorry, so it's only right that you return the favour, but congratulations then to yourself as well. And do you think coming up to gold, you're going to have a good season next season or not?
I'll see how it goes, to be quite frankly. So, yeah, what you call it, it's new challenge. So, yeah, it kind of like new game. I don't know what to expect, to be quite frankly. So, yeah, a new challenge. So, aye.
Well, you don't have to worry too much because at least you know that I'm going to be behind you, so it's all right. but fantastic stuff indeed all season as well then to Dylan. And like I said, commiserations, but well fought then for 17 rounds over the season. You've done a great job. And of course, P2, I would love to be P2 in any race, to be honest, but I'm not that familiar with that sort of level of racing anymore. But no, congratulations yourself then, Dylan. And like I said, very well done, even though it was P2 and then took it all the way to the final race of the season as well, which is great to see. I think we've got the race winner then of Ultimate Beast in this party as well then, have we? We've got everybody in this party, it looks like, blimey. Not sure if Ultimate Beast can hear me. Beast, if you're there, say hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Good stuff indeed. You got yourself a fantastic race win then. I think I was talking about it in the stream that you were you seem to be doing pretty well at Imola. I think it wasn't last season, it might have been the season before then. You got a race win at Imola as well then in silver. And history repeats itself, it looks like.
Apparently so. I'm not too sure how I did that, I've got to be honest. But I would take it nonetheless.
And we had some great pace, especially on the on the start. Then on the medium compact tires, getting yourself from P2 past the championship, the championship winner now of Mags. And again on the restart, I think it was lap 13 or so. You were back on the medium compact tires, I think, or lap 16, and you were back on the medium compact tires. And once again, then you sprinted off in the distance, then getting yourself past Pot Stuff and off into Narnia pretty much. And that was quite comfortable in that final stint. Were you comfortable, or were you just managing the race then from that point of view?
A bit of both, to be honest. I was just trying to keep a little bit out DRS at least, and then just saving the tyres, as my tyre wear's pretty bad overall. But if it wasn't for that last safety car, I don't think I would have won, honestly. But yeah, it's just how it goes, I think.
Well, credit to you for a fantastic race win then to end off the season. It's two for two then for Red Bull in terms of Imola Grand Prix, that is, because of course Toincoin won last night, his first race win of the season in gold, that is, and of course you win tonight. I'm not quite sure if you've won already this season, but you definitely got one tonight for sure. So credit to you as well. Great race indeed from Ultimate Beast then, and hopefully we'll see him back for some more great racing in Imola next season as well. Potentially we'll just do Imola for you next season, every single race. You should be right.
Imola 22 season. Yeah, great.
Brilliant stuff. All right, then we'll do that. But no, credit to you. Well, great race indeed, and a great season from yourself. Then I think that's everybody in the party. Then unfortunately, we haven't got anybody else then who's joined us. So that is it for Silver Season 7. Then fantastic stuff indeed. Then congratulations once again then to Mags. Then championship title decider. Then in the final round of the season, then Mags takes the win. Then he's crowned the champion then of Silver Season 7. Then Dylan in P2 then, but took it all the way to the line in P2 as well then for the McLaren driver, and of course Farf then wraps up P3, but we don't really care about that. So good stuff indeed then. Well done to all drivers in this season. It's been epic to commentate on, and thank you very much for joining us as well. Then we'll see you tomorrow for bronze, then another championship decider then between a McLaren and Williams this time, then between Brooksy and Jay Hings. So stay tuned for in ALR then for that one tomorrow night then at 7:30 p.m. Then for now we'll be off.